Porsche G-Wagon.
Are you 24? Imagine buying your G-Wagon 6 years after somebody built that car. Would you want that car still? So you're being 30. Why would they want you? What's your favorite car?
All right, Shalom. This is the brother Kaya from GMS New Orleans. Coming back at you with another quick lesson. Prior to getting started, as I always do, like to give infinite honors and prayers to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem HaKadosh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the Akim that's pushing the truth and sincerity. Lord willing, this video will be edifying first and foremost to the whole elect, then to those that cleave to the body. And this lesson is going to pretty much be about a female angriness epidemic. Okay. It says on the screen here, young women are facing a female angriness epidemic per study. They're the most unhappy, and pessimistic group and view the world negatively, blaming men for their unhappiness. Okay. Which this is a slap in the face. Okay. A reflection in which the nature of the woman through feminism and pride, okay, and joining hand in hand with the enemy, okay, have allowed their emotions to come full circle, okay, and understanding that their place the whole time was, under a man, that a woman was made for a man and not a man for a woman. Because again, I'm gonna play a video. It's with Anton Daniels, but it's the truth. Nobody really care about that nigga. But for the most part, the things that said in that is true. All right. Because these women, supposed to quote unquote, and tell you in Jeremiah 31 and I think it's 22, why they're angry with men, saying, all right, this have happened. This Jeremiah 31 and 22, it says, how long will thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For Yahweh had created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. So, through being independent, right, which was really an experiment that was put on you, chiefly you Israelite women, right? Starting with the top chief, the nigger woman, all right, and along with you other tribes, all right, to believe that, to separate, to get the man out the house, and believe that, y'all not a bind, or you can do bad all by yourself mentality or attitude, all right? It have caused the thing that the Lord have given your desire over to, all right, to hate you, man, And this is, it's slowly coming to pass because the Lord is doing a new thing. Well, not a new thing. He's bringing all these new things and these new vices in the earth. All right. He breaking down all these strongholds. All right. That once, separated family, chiefly the Israelite family from the, from the man, from the woman with the kids, the whole household structure. Okay. But a lot of their unhappiness come from their selfishness, man. Okay. Their lack of, their lack of being able to identify, all right, the method of the madness that, these other nations is using against them. All right. And they hardiness, man. The Lord is bringing their hardiness low, and they blaming men out of all people for their unhappiness, man. Now that the man is not giving them the attention that they seek and desire, all right, now they're putting the attention towards the men, where they the cause for our unhappiness. And then when a man make you happy, all right, you look in other places for happiness. So there's just no satisfying them. Okay, let me play this video. All right.
Have the men given up? I'm serious. They just
Giving up.
given up.
Just see what's going on here. Okay, give me 1 second here.
Have the men given up? I'm serious. They just like stopped. They don't want to have sex anymore. They don't want to go on dates with women. They just want to hang out with their boys. Like, look, I get it. Men want to hang out with men. They want to do their thing. They don't want to care about women drama anymore. I don't know. Maybe someone can explain to me what's going on, because as long as men are not approaching women, they are going to be single. And women are having a great time. From what I've seen.
Yeah, something not adding up, right? They say women are having great time without men. All right. Now, from what we're saying, there's a female angriness epidemic, right? There's a female angriness epidemic going on right now. So, which they're gonna have a guy come on after her and totally debunk this nonsense, okay? Because the women are scrambling, right? And we gonna go to our women. We Israelites. We're going to deal with our nation. These other nations are in order, or the lack thereof. I mean, we can really care less, right? Because we don't, too much compare. I mean, we can compare our nation to the other nations, but, our nation is greater than the other nations. So even when you make a comparison, that's not going to be the level where even our women are more lively than these other nations, man. So we using Edomites here, but the report is true, the record is true, all right, that they giving out. But she's in the world is a perfect example of the mindset of a woman, and then the true mindset of the world, the mindset of what a man's supposed to be and supposed to do. Edomite gonna have to say that. Now this is another nation. We talking about Jake. I'm talking about this is how Jake's supposed to think, move, and operate. All right? But yet, from the man's point of view, which he's going to come up next.
Single women are having a great time. Yes, maybe they want boyfriends. They want to hook up. But single women are having a great time. The single men, I don't know. Not so much. What do you think?
Having a great time. All right. They having a great time exchanging debt, man. All right, performing debt because they committing adultery. All right, a lot of these women going to these other countries and do all manners of wickedness. All right, they're having a great time in wickedness, and what's happening is the Lord is developing the men of the Lord. All right, that these women are about to flock to him. All right, it's gonna be a great paradigm shift in the earth. All right, from a woman to a man. You see. And that's what you're saying.
A lot of women are scrambling for options because what happened was over the past 5 years, they had their pick of the litter, but the problem was that they rejected every single guy that was into them, or eventually they just didn't want a relationship with those guys anymore because they got bored or they thought the grass was greener elsewhere. Well, here's why that's really bad right now. Well, you fast forward 5 years and a lot of them slowly figure out that they don't look the same at 30 as they did at 25. Okay, those wrinkles start to set in, things change. Well, over that 5-year span, what most of these guys did to overcome that heartbreak was a lot of them self-improved. And now these guys are coming into their prime. So that means they're making more money than ever. They're more ripped than they were before. They have more sweat.
Yeah, this Romans 7:2, it says, for the woman which had an husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as she liveth. No, you can't get bored in a relationship. You deal with a man, all right, that's your man. Now we know, we're not under those rules and orders of old, but we still try to practice and exercise the law to the best of our ability. If you Israelite women that claim to, have faith or be acquaintance to men of the Lord or whatever you want to call yourselves, all right, a daughter, or, a companion, okay, well, you're under this law. It says, but if the husband be dead, she is loose from the law of her husband, all right? And a lot of these men are living. That's why the Lord spoke about this wicked and adulterous world, okay?
than they had before. They have more charisma than they had before, and they're way more desirable. Well, now what happens is a lot of the women are sitting there going, whoa, what did I do? I passed up on every single option. And now what you're seeing is relationships are just not formed at all. Women can feel it. Okay, men have completely given up. Men don't approach anymore. Men don't even talk to them. And what I can tell you is the more you start to basically, like as a dude, the more you basically live like a woman, prioritize self-care. We're going to stand tonight and focus on ourselves. The more you do that, the more all of your attention goes to you, the more attractive you become. So what you're going to notice is about to happen within the next 5 years is women are going to have to start to approach men.
Yeah, because their desire was to their husbands anyways. All right, so this ain't like, this not some phenomenon that just popped out and happened, man. No, their desire had been to their husbands anyways. All right. This is Genesis 3:16. It says, and to the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, right? And thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. All right. And the women could feel that shift happening. You know, they know in the earth, and this is going to be a quick, easy thing. All right. Because the woman always established themselves on beauty. You know, they hold a prized possession, you know, the box or, you know, the things which they like, oh, a man have to get to me, a man have to talk to me. No. All right. That day is gone. All right. The real true men that's risen back in the earth is over with.
It's already happening more than you ever can believe. The first woman, she asked a question, said, do men want to be single? I think the better question is, are men lonely? There's a lot of men that may be alone a lot of the time, but it doesn't mean that they're lonely. And they can get companionship, and it doesn't mean that they don't even have situationships when they want it. They have access. But
that's a good point, you know, but what I would say outside of this guy, what he's saying, he made a good point. Is the question is men lonely? Because that's what women got to worry about. Oh, at some point they gonna break down and approach and come to us, but you know that death passed and gone, right? Because the Lord had introduced a new woman into the men of the Lord, and that's Sophia, man, which is wisdom. So now we don't get bored, we don't get tired, we don't get disinterested, or wonder, you know, or have a lack of faith in ourselves, how we look, you know, how can I approach this woman, or sit and think about women anymore. We long, all right, we worship, we fellowship within, we have a woman. All right. And when a man have a woman that he have set his eyes on and his love upon, all right, he really don't need to look for another woman, because since the Lord have given us a spiritual woman, all right, our physical woman, you know, our long for that physical woman has, I would say, disappeared. And I don't mean just the, you know, the nature of, you know, man just getting off, but the Lord have quenched our thirst because he have filled our spirit. All right. And that way to access, all right, now can get neutralized from our spirit that travels to our flesh, to where we don't got to be intertwined and engage with the woman, because we see something coming that's way more greater in the kingdom of heaven. All right. Well, we'll have everything to our heart's desire. Right. We'll have every woman we want. OK, but now we have to sacrifice, all right, to, you know, basically get the status of the Lord. All right. And be crowned, and then, you know, get the power, and all these things will be added unto us, man. But it's not just about the woman. All right. I really just played this to really show, all right, you know, the angriness. There's a female angriness epidemic going on, you know. And this come from the results of the women leaving their first estate. And what I mean by that, you know, being ruled, subject under their husband, listening to their husbands at home, these women outside, all right, they getting abroad, all right, they clamorous and they don't know nothing, all right, they talking back, all right, they in all manners of everything, man. All right, so when they fell from their first estate, which was that respect unto their husbands, all right, this the aftermath. You know, now y'all gonna cry and can we please have, just be called by your name? We're going to do this and do that. Well, y'all had the time to get in order. All right. Now y'all have to get in order,
Don't mean that they utilize it. Some guys is just not even interested because they spending more time focusing on their purpose than they are focusing on women. And that's just like that is just an explosion moment for women for whatever reason.
Have the men given up?
Yeah. Now let's go back to this real quick. All right. A lot of these women is trying to find reasons to, continue to put men down, right? Shake their fate, right? Because that's all you could possibly do. A man that don't have confidence, all right, you can easily cause him to waver, all right, and get him to do what you want him to do, But this is Esther 1. Y'all beauty not working no more. The makeup and the sorcery and all this, it's not what it is. This is Esther 1:17. All right. It says, it's Esther 1. I'm going to start at 15. All right. And there's an account where he called out the woman to show her beauty. All right. And you could go and read the account. Okay. The king. All right. And because of it, he wanted to bring the queen out. All right. And this is what these women is. They really mostly queens, right? They're whores. If you really know what a queen mean. All right. This Esther 1:11. To bring, it says, the heart of the king was merry with wine. All right. So he wanted to show his trophy off. It says to bring, verse 11, to bring Vashti, the queen, before the king with the crown royal to show the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look upon. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. And a lot of these women refuse, to get in line and order with men. I think it was Apostle, Apostle Rumblab and Apostle Rakah was basically like, all these women, if you really respect your man, you wouldn't even be listening to the apostle. Oh, elder, apostle, great lesson, this or that. You would basically be only learning from him at home, man. So he made a beautiful point. All right. It says, therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. Then the king said to the wise men which knew the times, for so was the king's manner towards all that knew law and judgment. You see? And the next unto him. All right, let's get down. Jump to 15. What shall we do to the queen Vashti according to the law, because she had not performed the commandment of the king Osiris by the chamberlains? Okay. And Memucan answered before the king and the princess, Vashti the queen had not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in the provinces of the king Osiris. Okay, so this was when a woman don't listen to something, one woman just made it bad for all women. All right, and that's what the law do. All right, the law don't make any exceptions for these people. Some people feel like they could, I could do this, I could do that. Nah, y'all women only have one job. Y'all is to exhort and be at home. All right, and take care of the house. Y'all can't do whatever the hell y'all want. Right, this Titus 2:4. It says that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, and to love their children, to be discreet, chaste keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of our power be not blasphemed. You see? And it's our job as men, to also, be sober and exhort, showing our patterns of doing the things a man's supposed to do, providing, protecting for his house, and amongst other things. I get that. All right. But it's also an order for you women, all right, to not be trying to be equal to the man, but just come under the rule of thumb, man. All right. It says, for this deed, the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes, when it when it shall be reported, the king commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes which heard of the deed of the queen. Thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the law of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before the king, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. You see? Because all these women like to think they a lot of idol worshiping and, idolizing themselves. But the women, and most of these women are jealous of each other. They all hang together, but one of them really jealous of the one with the better attitude or the better relationship or whatever it is. They all secretly jealous of each other. All right, but it's not going to be that way in the kingdom of heaven. Y'all all going to get in line and be in order. Okay? It says, and when the king's decree which he had made shall be published throughout all of his empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give to their husband honor, both to great and small. You see? So y'all blaming each other for y'all unhappiness, but men is running out of their wits for y'all. If y'all really women of the Lord, or y'all believe in anything and really respect the men, all right, you wouldn't have a man risk his life for you. All right? But do the things that give him life. Okay? Be a pillar of rest to him, for crying out loud. A lot of these women is a headache. This Sirach 36 and 24. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest. You see? So the men need to rest so they can do the will and the work of the Lord, man. A lot of these women is just haughty, right? They don't take care of the damn children, nothing, man. All right, let's get that. Okay, this Lamentations 4. Get straight to the point. And 3, even the sea monsters draw out the breast, they give suck to their young ones. The daughter of my people has become cruel, like the ostriches in the wilderness, right? With the stretched forth neck, mincing as they walk. I get that next. The tongue of the suckling child cleaveth to the roof of his mouth for thirst. The young children ask for bread, and no man breaketh unto tongue. But let's see what it says. All right. That's Isaiah 3 and 16. Let me get that. Right? They come like the ostriches in the wilderness, man. And it's the same thing for you women. Rise up, you careless daughters that are at ease. It says, moreover, Isaiah 3 and 16, the Lord said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes. Yeah, undisciplined eyes. A lot of these women ain't even supposed to be outside. They ain't even supposed to see other men. All right? They're not supposed to even be able to have the opportunity of the appearance of evil. They should be in rooms with no windows. All you daughters, walking and mincing as they go and making a tingling with their feet, man. Heels, high heels, clamorous, right? Proverbs 9 and 13, they all outside just wilding the hell out. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing. All right? Just clamorous as hell, man. Can't be told nothing. Can't be taught nothing either. All right? We'll get that next. All right? Get that next. Get this right here. And this time, the spirit is on these women. Yeah, clamorous. They murmuring. They crying aloud. They growling. They loud. They in commotion. They boisterous. Turbulent. Just moving abroad, man. All right. You can see they not being taught any goddamn thing. They ain't learning nothing, and that's why the Lord, that's part of the curses of why they in the position they in now. This is Job. Got to get the oldie but goodie, 39, right? In 16, it says, she is hardened against her young ones as though they were not hers. Her labor is in vain without fear. A lot of these women leaving the kids to go to, these dream trips they taking to Vegas and, Cancun and different places, leaving the children there for days, man. All right, why they just party? It says, because our power had deprived her of wisdom, neither had it imparted to her understanding. All right, because she left her first estate, the respect of the man. All right, the wisdom and understanding come through our man. And if she would listen unto him, she would have wisdom and knowledge. Not on a level of a man to preach and teach, all right, but it'll be shared down to where she would understand and acknowledge the things that keep a household upheld. All right. It said, but what time she lifted up herself on high? You see, even though she dumb as hell, all right, these women out here thinking they know it all, man. No relationships. Like that first video I played. All right, he like, if a car 36, 6 years old and you 40, why in the hell would somebody want you, man? You 23, and if you bought a car that was 6 years old, would you want it? She said no. He said, well, why would somebody want you with 7 years of mileage of you just dealing with different men, or you didn't put mileage and all that on yourself? Don't nobody want your ass, man. Hard to deal with, and the Lord made it like that, right? Because you women about to fall. All right. It's 1 Peter 3 and 5. It says, for after this man in the old time, the holy women also who trusted in the Most High adorned themselves, being in subjections unto their own husband. But when they adorned themselves, all right, they put the glory of the man on. All right, because that's their glory. Their hair is their glory. All right, but their husband is who they desires to. All right, it says, this is how in the NLT, the holy women of old made themselves beautiful. They put their trust in the Most High and accepted the authority of their husbands. You can't get around that. Let me read that again. All right. That's why these women are unhappy, because they have put their beauty, all right, on them, on their appearance, all right, and their trust in nothingness, man. Okay. And they put their trust in the world. All right. And they fall to the devil. It says, this is how the holy women of old made themselves beautiful. They put their trust in the Most High and accepted the authority of their husbands, man. Woo. They didn't make themselves beautiful by doing this in Jeremiah 4 and 30. It says, when thou art spoiled, and these women starting to be spoiled. All right, men not helping them no more. I was trying to find a video before I started the lesson on. The strippers are walking out of the clubs crying because they say they can't. Nobody has no more. The men are not showing up. All right, to throw money on them because the men are broke. Nobody has money. Everything is high. We're in a recession. Tariffs. All right, they crying because they say they can't take care of their families. Well, you're committing adultery to take care of your damn family. All right, the Lord ain't with that. It says, and when thou art spoiled, what wilt thou do? Jeremiah 4 and 30. Though thou closest thyself with crimson, though thou deckest thee with ornaments of gold, though thou rendest thy face with paintings, in vain shalt thou make thyself fair. Thy lovers will despise thee. They will see thy life. So continue to be negative and blaming men for all your unhappiness, all your ill deeds and all your shortcomings, and then point it all on a man because the man did this, the man did that. All right, it was him. All right, well, hey, that's going to be the cause of your death, man. All right, it says, for I have heard a voice of a woman in travail and the anguish as of her that bringeth forth her first child, which is pain, all right, due to that curse from not listening to her husband in the first place, going back to Eve. The voice of the daughter of Zion that bewailed herself, that spreaded her hands, saying, woe is me now, for my soul is wearied because of the murderers, man. All right, now there's a price to pay for not respecting your husband, women. All right. There's no shot to the women who was in order, all right, in subjection under their husband or under the men of the Lord. Okay, doing the work, or if you don't have a man of the Lord, you listening in silence and waiting for the Most High to send you a man to guide you. All right, not out here being a whore, showing your ass and other things. All right, all these women on here, they all whores, man. Okay, you can tell by their gait. You see, but again, this female angriness epidemic is all started, all right, from their own selves. They should just look at themselves in the women, in the mirror, all right, and then they'll see the result of them falling from their first estate, man, was what? To disrespect their husbands and not listen. And now look where it got them at, and that pretty much was the point. I kind of, went overboard, but let me try to play this video one more time. All right. See what we have here.
What's your favorite car?
Porsche or G-Wagon.
Are you 24? Imagine buying your G-Wagon 6 years after somebody drove that car. Would you want that car still? So you being 30, why would they want you?
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
We going above and beyond to please these used up ass women, man. Y'all want y'all cake and eat it too. Well, y'all about to get it. All right, you gonna get the candles, you gonna get the birthday wish and everything else with the cake, man. You gonna eat everything. All right, the box, everything that they come in. All right, because you have been naive and disorderly concerning judgment and wisdom. All right, so therefore there's a price to pay. And that pretty much was the point. Like I said, the angrier these women get, okay, the more you gonna see, all right, the Lord continue to strengthen the men of the Lord, all right, that that Isaiah 4:1 could kick in and it's gonna, what's prophesied, man, is surely about to come to pass, man. We can see it happening. So I don't want to write this out. Was that a fine next summer? See, Shalom.